Everyone, this is Jen with Upcycle Scrapbooking. I am excited to show you my Valentine project. We're going to learn to make this cute little heart box. It's a little gift box, okay? It's really simple. We're going to learn to, it's all out of paper, so it's probably things you already have at home. So here's what you need. You're going to need a marker that's about the same color as your cardstock, your colored cardstock. You're going to need one sheet of cardstock. I used white cardstock, excuse me. I used the one that you get from the office supply store that's 110-pound weight because I use it for homeschool projects, so that works fine. In fact, I love it. Then you'll need 3 sheets of 8.5 by 11. Oh, by the way, you need 8.5 by 11. You'll need 3 sheets of 8.5 by 11 of the same color cardstock, which is like for your red heart, okay, in whatever tone. This is Stampin' Up, so I'm not sure the color, but it's really pretty, okay? Then you're going to go to my website. There'll be a link below in the instructions. If you go to my website, you'll be able to print out this template of your heart. So what you'll need, 2 of them will be small and 4 will be large, okay? So you just cut those out and you're ready to go. All right? Then you'll take, I've got mine cut out, my 4 large and my 2 small. I'm going to set them to the side. You'll need some kind of adhesive like snail or like your ATG, okay? You're going to need some kind of quick dry glue. I've used the Scotch quick dry and that'll work, and so will this quick dry Aleene's tacky glue. You'll need a scoreboard and a bone folder of some kind. This is the punch that I chose to use for my lace on my box, and it is Martha Stewart, and it's called something like lace, doily lace, something like that. So it could be scallop lace, I'm not sure. But if you know the name of it, please go ahead and put it in the comments below for everybody else. If I find out, I'll put it on the screen. You're going to need it out of your cardstock, your colored cardstock. You'll need to cut 4 1-inch strips. Okay, so this is 1 inch, 1 inch by 11. Okay, so you'll need to have 4 of those. You'll need to have 4 of these 1-inch, 1.5 inch strips, 1.5 by 11 for your project. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we're going to start with of course, the base of our box. So you're going to take one of your hearts, and you're going to need to mark. You'll also need a ruler, okay? You'll take your ruler at the very center point of your heart, and you'll mark 1/4 inch down, okay? So just put a little dot there, 1/4 inch down. And that's why I wanted you to have it so close to the color of the paper so it doesn't stand out quite as much. And about 1 inch, every inch around, go ahead and make that mark so you kind of have a guide as to where you're going to line your paper up. So every inch apart, you're going to go 1/4 inch down. Okay, so mark 1/4 inch around all the way. Okay, so I did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marks, and then the top and the bottom center. Okay, all right, here comes the fun. All right, we're going to now need to take your 1.5 inch strip of cardstock and out of your colored cardstock, and you'll take your scoreboard, okay, and you will score it at 1/2 inch on the 1.5 inch side. Okay, so score at 1/2 inch. Okay, then you will turn it long ways on the 11 inch side, and you will score up to the score line you just made, which is the 1/2 inch side. Put the 1/2 inch flap right here up against the numbers and have the fatter end at the bottom. Okay, and you're going to score every 1/2 inch. Okay, this is just a guideline So you don't have to be really exact on how hard you need to press, because it's just a cutting guide, okay? So once you've got that done all the way down, every 1/2 inch, okay, fold it over. Just reinforce it real quick. Okay, this is not so easy to explain, but it's an easy thing to do. Okay, we're going to be cutting teeth, and this is what it looks like. Okay, these are our teeth that we're going to need to make out of that strip. The way you do it is you're cutting triangles, and the top of the triangle is at the top of the score mark you just made going vertical. Okay, so I'm going to show you lining this up on this one. I'm not sure you can see the score mark, but here's the score line, and I cut a diagonal up to the top of that score line. Okay, not sure you can see. There we go, right about there. Okay, you see the score line? So what we do is we cut a triangle by making your score line the center of the triangle. So I'll cut a diagonal line up to the top of that score line. Okay, now what I do is I go one direction at a time. So I'm going to cut from about halfway into the 1/2 inch space up to the score line. Okay, so see, there's my score line. I'm going to fold it over so you can see. See, there's my score line. I cut a diagonal up to it, and then I'm going to do that again on the next one. And I'll fold it so you can see. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way across, and then we'll turn it off over and cut it the other way to make the triangles. So really quick, we'll just go and cut. And it doesn't have to be perfect, even though I like things asymmetrical, and this you have to just say it's okay to not do it perfect, because nobody's going to see it. Because this is the part that just holds it all down, and no one's ever going to see it at all. Okay, now you see that I've cut all of my little slits. Flip it over to the back, and now I'm going to cut the opposite direction. That'll now form my triangles. Okay, so cut it, pop it out, cut it, cut it. You see now? Okay, I think you've got the hang of it, so let's just go to town on our strips. You're going to go ahead and cut 2 for this first part. So if you need to catch up, just pause the video, because that's what I do when I watch everyone else's. A lot of times I love to make the project right then, so that's why I'm going to always try to make sure I give you the supply list at the beginning. So if you want to go grab it, you've got it. Okay, here we go. So you pull them all out, and there's your teeth. Okay, so let me get my little scrappies out of the way. Now you're going to need to get your ATG or your snail tape, and remember you're using the one you just marked. Okay, all right, now taking your strip on the back side, okay, to see how it folds like a, like down, you want that side facing up. Okay, you can use your snail if you want. You're going to apply tape all the way down up against that score line, okay, and it's going to take 2 passes to go through it. You can do it with this. I'm going to do it with my ATG. I'm going to go all the way down right against the score line. Okay, and now I need to cover this tip that's exposed. Making sure you get that tip, and it's okay that you go past it. Okay, now I'm going to gently pull it up. Okay, and see, now we have. Okay, so now we cut it all out. You're going to have the tape is showing. Okay, that's a good thing. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I like to start on the left side of the heart. So we're going to line this edge up on that dot. You want to cover these dots, but not come, you want to be right on them, not over to the other side of them, because you need that space for a reason, okay, for the lid. Okay, so I'm going to lay it right on my dot and just press as I go. Turn it, making sure you're lining up on the dots, and you're going to love that you made those dots. You're going to be so glad because they're your guide. Let your dots be your guide. And just like that, you're done. Don't you love that? Oh, I love how quick that is. Me love quick. Okay, now we need to trim the excess off, okay? And so what I'm going to do is I like to see how you need it to come to that point right there. So I just kind of eyeball it. Okay. And then pull the excess off because you got tape in there. Just fold it over, and this can be thrown away now. That's trash. Or if you want, my daughter loves to do card making, so what I do is I can cut all these off, and she has a nice strip of paper to use. We're really big about recycling. Of course, that's why I'm called Upcycled. Okay, so now let's do the other side. Same thing. You're going to have the back side and add your ATG. So I'm going to do that real quick. So please excuse the squeakiness. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. Now, this one's going to be a little bit different because I want to fold over about 1 inch inside here to reinforce it to that, okay? So it's about 2 of these your little triangles, sorry, because they're 1/2 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold forward so that the tape doesn't attach to itself, just slightly, and then backwards, because actually I need to cut off these 2 tabs at the score line. Okay, just pull it off. Okay, and then still wants to stick to me. Okay, so now you're ready. Okay, so what you're going to do is this, kind of pull your little teeth flat, and you're going to want to adhere it here. So that means you need what? Adhesive, score tape. I'll just use this. This is nice and small. So let's put it all over it because you do not want it to come off. Okay, and then just fold back any stray little pieces. Okay. Oh, I love this project. It's so fast. Okay, so go ahead and just line it up and stick it there, and then we're starting. Okay, remember to go along your line, your little dots. That's what they're there for. Let your dots be your guide. Don't you just love that this does not take glue? And I promise you it'll stay, because I'm going to show you how we're going to reinforce it with glue in a different way. Because I tried this project with glue, and it is not fun with glue. Okay, so now that we're coming down to here, it's running into each other. And again, we're going to do the same thing we did before, where it's going to fold over. So I want you to see where it's going to line up. It's actually going to, it should line up right in this valley. And I want you to count 3 over from there. 1, 2, 3, and then cut. Okay? So cut it off right there. And then cut 3 of those tabs off. Okay, just like we did on the other one. So cut 3 of your tabs, your little triangles, off. Okay? Done. Alright. So again, now you're going to bring this around. Make sure you stay with your dots, because you need that distance around, that equal distance around, okay? I've got a little bit of tape coming out. All right, so just, make sure everything's sitting down the way it should, okay? And then you're going to hold this here, and you're just gonna pinch to make that little match the bottom here. So you're just gonna have to eyeball it. There we go. Okay, and that means you're going to need more snail. Okay, so just put it all over it so it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, make sure that tape is on the inside, and then and there you go. Isn't that awesome? That was so easy. See? Okay. The reason you didn't want the marker, I'm sorry, not the marker, but the black trim side showing is because we'll cover this up, and if it was over here, you would see it when you open the box, and we don't want you to have that happen. Okay? So now we need to cover the inside up, and that's what your smaller heart was for. So your smaller heart is going to be close, but not exact, because how you put this in here, is going to be the key. So here's what I do. I take my heart box and I set it down on top of my other heart, my smaller heart, and I just take my pen, and you just want to hold lightly, and don't press up against the box or it'll cave and it'll move. And what I'm trying to do is get a eyeball an idea of the size that I need. Okay, so I'm just going to trace it real quick. Okay, and now I can cut, and I'm going to cut on the inside of this line because this is matched up with the outside, and I need it to be slightly smaller. So I'm going to cut on the inside of the line I just made, and I still may need to do some trimming, but that's no big deal. Nothing is an exact science, but it's all fun. I grew up with my mom always doing art projects with us. Okay, so see, mine's a tight fit, but if I press it, I don't want it to bow, but I want it to fit. Now, and one side might fit different than the other, so so I still have a pretty good fit. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm now going to take it out, and I'm going to now use my glue. And this is what I was talking about, why this will stay down, because now you're going to be adding glue to all of this that makes it stay even more. And here's what I like to do. I like to put a little right on the tips. I put just a little thing of glue. Okay, and then I put it on this piece that's going in there. Okay? Oh, hold on, I want to trim that a little bit. That's a funky little turn there. Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to put glue all over this. Spread it all over. You don't want to do a real heavy, but you want to make sure you get to the edges. Okay? That's why I like the quick dry and the tacky, because it will hold. Alright, and just, press it down in there. It'll dry clear, so don't worry about if you get any. That's what I like about it. Okay. I like to use my bone folder. It kind of helps to get any excess. Another tip is you can use a little baby wipe, because it's not going to get that damp and ruin anything. So that's a great little thing. So just press to make sure it's adhering, because you don't want it to come up. Okay? I just like everything to be clean, so wipe it clean. Okay? Alright. So that one is done. Okay? Now you want to do the other side. and this one, you're going to need your other heart, and you're going to mark this one. Again, don't mark on this side, you want to mark on this side because you want it to be there. Okay, this one will be 3/8 inch. So from the center, sorry, that was my computer. From the center, you will mark 3/8 inch down. The other one was 1/4 inch. This is 3/8 inch, okay? So this obviously is the part that's going to go inside, okay? So make sure you've placed your dots an inch apart all the way around, going down, going in at 3/8 inch, okay? All right, and then you're going to need your teeth again. So let me see if I have my other one. I have one already ready with tape already on it, okay? So let's get started. Remember, line it up on the dot, that little corner right on the dot. This one will use a lot less of your strip because it's going in deeper inside. Okay, and this, I'm seriously, this is where you appreciate making those dots, because I don't even know how I could do that and get it accurately if I didn't make those marks. So, oops. Okay, right there. See, I want to kind of line it up with here. So that's what I'm trying to line up with. Okay, there we go. See, now this is lined up right in the center with this tip. Okay, all right, so now we need to do the other piece, which is here. And we put our ATG on it. Got sticky on here. On the back, up against the score line. Okay, and again on the tips, overlapping the first part, you put tape on. Okay, let me just use this real quick. Get off any sticky. Okay, all right, now we're doing that second half. Now, if you remember, again, we have to go in 1 inch and fold, which is equal to 2 triangles. Fold this way, fold that way, and one more this way. Then you're going to cut off the 2 triangles on the bottom. Okay, cut those off. You've been kicked off the island. Okay, and then what are we going to need? We're going to need adhesive on the back side. So just use your snail. Make sure you get it completely covered to the edges so that it will hold. Okay, all right, and now we're going to lay that down. We're going to match it up. You're going to want to fold these up a little bit. Your teeth. I call them teeth because I don't know what else to call them. So I think that'll work. Okay, so I'm gonna, now that is stuck together, okay? And now we can go around. And you know what's great about the ATG too? It's kind of forgiving. You know, if you need to reposition it, you can just pick it up. So I think I like that too, for that reason. Okay, all right, so now you're coming around, remember? Wow, I need to really get that dot in there. Okay, now you're coming around to here, so you've got to figure out where you need to cut. I'm gonna kind of fold mine to see. Okay, I need to be on this side of the triangle. So I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, and cut. Cut off 3 triangles. You'd rather have too much than too little, so if you're not sure, cut more than you, add more in length than you might need, because you can always adjust. That's what's great about this. Because see, I can just pick this ATG back up and reposition it. Okay, he needs to come on the inside, and then I need to make that sharp turn right there. So I'm going to pinch it. Okay. Stick it down. And then I need to add my snail. Okay. Snail on that end. Completely covered. Because you want it to stick. Don't want it to go anywhere. Get your little pieces all so it's not showing. And we're done. Isn't that awesome? So it should fit inside here, and it does. Look at that. Okay, so now we need to line this. So again, and this one's smaller, so it's going to be different. So I'm going to trace it again, right on here. I'm going to go around. And remember, you're going to cut on the inside of your marker, not the outside, because it's actually smaller than where you marked. Okay? Okay, so we'll just go around, leave about go about a 1/16, no more than an 1/8, but I think probably more like a 1/16 inch on the inside of that line, and that way you can still trim more if you need to. Isn't this so quick and easy? This is something you can do with your kids. Wait till you get to the pleating. Oh my gosh, that was kind of neat. Okay, so let's just check. Oh my gosh, look at that. Perfect. Yay, yay, yay. So definitely for me it was like a 1/16, okay? Alright, so I'm going to put my glue. Oh, sorry. Gotta make sure I get it on my edges. There we go. Now fill it in. Not too goopy because it'll ooze. You don't want it to ooze out. Okay? And I'm just going to set it down. And I'll tell you something that's a really neat tool is an eraser. I love to use that to press something down. Okay? Because look, you can just go like this. Perfect. Okay. So now your piece should fit together like this. Okay? So now we're going to add a finishing trim around this before we make our lid. Okay? So that should be your 1-inch strips that you had to make. Okay? That you had to cut 1 inch by 11. Alright. So these are going to go around here. It also makes it a little more sturdy. Okay, so it's going to go like this. So what you need to do is, of course, add ATG tape all over it. Okay, snail, whatever. You could use glue, but I'm afraid it would ooze, and then you would ruin your project, so I don't advise it. Okay, so I'm going to come all the way down my strip so it's completely covered. Okay, if you got any overhang wispies, just fold those in because you don't want any of that to show. Okay, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this apart, and right here is where you're going to line your piece up, right there in that seam. Okay, make sure you go up against your heart all along, and this makes it a nice finished look. And yes, this would be where I'm a little more OCD. Okay, and I'm going to cut about 1 inch off at an angle, kind of like a miter cut. And I'm going to pinch and fold it over. Oops, it's giving me a fit. There we go. Alright, so it's like that, and then we're going to do the other side. So let me close my scissors. That I cannot keep as something to reuse because ATG's all over it, so I have to throw away the extra. Sounds like my ATG's about out. I've got snail just in case. I can feel it's really pulling. Okay. Okay, so we got that. Gonna go like that. All right. And now you're going to put it on the other side. It just looks so nice when it's finished like that. Plus, again, it reinforces the strength of the box, which I love. Okay. Got off track just a little bit. Okay. That's another thing. You don't want to get off track because it'll make it higher than the rest of the piece. That's why I tell you to press against the heart. Okay. And now this one I'm going to just cut off even, right here, along here, square it right off. And I'm trying to throw baby wipes at you. Okay, so I should have done this the other direction. I am not a lefty. Okay, now that's perfect. Okay, you'll do that with your other part. I'll do that with the other side, but we'll go on to the next step, which is now making this beautiful cover. Now for me, I used I got for Christmas a Cuttlebug, and my daughter got the Texture Boutique by, I think it's Sizzix. So using the Swiss dots is what we use to make that so pretty. But I'm just going to do plain because not everybody has that. Of course, I would be one of those that didn't have it before Christmas. We're going to make it without. Now you're going to need to have two 1.5 inch strips of white, and here is what we're going to do. I'm going to show you with a diagram. Okay, it's similar to what we did with the red strips. Okay, this you're going to put it on your scoreboard and score a 1/2 inch on the 1.5 inch side. Okay, so it's a 1/2 inch little flat. Okay, then you're going to lay it long ways, and everywhere you see a red mark is a score mark. Okay, this first mark is a 1/2 inch, and the next one is a 1/8 inch over, so that's 5/8 inch. Okay, now here is the only way I knew how to tell you easily. From your first mark of the two, you're going to go over a 1/2 inch. Okay, so from here to here is a 1/2 inch. Okay, so it would be a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1.5, 2. So if it makes it easier for you, you might want to take your scoreboard. This is what was easier for me. It would be easier for me to mark everything every 1/2 inch. So, and I apologize, I meant to say 3/4 inch. I did it again, didn't I? Okay, sorry. Every 3/4 inch. So from this first line of every one of these, the first line to the next first line, first score mark is 3/4 inch. So if it's easier, you would do you start at a 1/2 inch. Okay, your first mark is 1/2 inch, and from there on it's 3/4 inch. So it's a 1/2, and then 3/4 over, 3/4 over. So what I would do, honestly, is I would go and mark my first set of lines, the first set of lines from each double line. I would mark them 3/4 inch from each other. Okay, and that way all you have to do is go to the next, go back to them, and just hit the 1/8 inch next to all of them. Okay, because if you do it the other way, it's confusing. And this is already confusing. Okay, so again, your first score line is at a 1/2 inch. I'll write that down for you. Okay, and from the first line here is 1/2 inch. Okay, the next line, this one, this one, this one. Every first line of these is 3/4 inch apart. Okay, when you're done making all these 3/4 inch apart, go back and do 1/8 inch from your mark. Okay, so that you'll have 1/8 inch spacing. Okay? All right. So now that we're done with that, once you've done this, then you're going to use your decorative punch. So let me show you how to do that. As soon as I can figure out where I put my punch. Right here. Okay. Got some. All right. So here's my punch. You're going to use the fat end, and I like to line it up. Here's my beginning point of one of my scallops, so it is here too. I just like to do it here. I like to put my end right there so that I know how it's going to line up along the whole strip. Okay, so let me line that up. Okay, I think it'll make more sense when you can see it, how it looks with the punch. Well, you gotta have some muscles for this, don't you? Make sure I've got it on. Okay. Alright, now you can see how that looks. Okay, now we're at the black lines. Same thing, we're going to make teeth. If you'll notice here, at the center of the two lines, okay, oops, sorry, center of the two lines is the peak of my triangle. It's the same as when we were putting the peak of the triangle on the one line on our red teeth, but we have a 1 inch space, so we want to actually have it centered on the 1 inch space. So let me show you. I will cut this one on that one. I'll cut the first. Okay, see? All right, so see your space right here? Because your score marks will be all the way up here because we're going to be needing to fold to make our pleats. You're going to go up to that first score line and cut your teeth. Okay, so we'll just cut them all the way across. And remember what I said, I like to go one direction this way, flip it over and go the other because it just seems faster for me. Go ahead and pause your video if you need to. Okay, see? Okay, so why don't you go ahead and do that.